Welcome to Veganizing Everything. This time we're making pain Suisse. Although pain Suisse means Swiss bread, it has nothing to do with Switzerland. Nobody really knows why they called it Swiss bread back then. Nonetheless, it's really delicious. Crunchy, buttery, filled with vanilla pastry cream and chocolate chips.
So good.
To make these yourself, you can follow my standard croissant dough recipe, just the lamination process is a little bit different. As always, we start with a French lock-in, creating the first layer of butter. Watch my last video on how to prepare the butter sheet. After the French lock-in, we immediately start with the rollout. In this step, it's really important to watch your temperature, so your butter won't crack or leak out from the dough. When you've rolled out the dough roughly and gave it some width, use wooden guides to roll your dough to 5 millimeters of thickness. Make sure to always flour your countertop a little bit so the dough won't stick to the surface. But also don't use too much flour, otherwise the dough will dry out on the surface. After you've cut off both ends, we will perform the first fold, which will be a book fold, or also called a double fold. After this, roll the dough a little bit in the width and length. Make sure to cut all the bent edges to release some tension in the dough. Otherwise, this will result in uneven layers on the edges. And then we can wrap it with some cling film and chill it in the fridge. After your dough is chilled for about an hour in the fridge, we repeat the same process. We roll out to first 10 millimeters, then 5 millimeters, cut off the uneven edges, and perform the second fold, which will be a single fold. Again, release some tension and chill in the fridge for 1 hour. Now that you've made it this far into the video, we are finally coming to the interesting part. After you've rolled out the dough to 10 millimeter thickness and 30 centimeter width, you can start by cutting off slices of around 1 centimeter thickness, turn them 90 degrees and layer them next to each other onto the surface of the dough. Brush off any excess flour before starting with the layering of the strips, and even spray the surface with a little bit of water. Otherwise the strips will just fall off your dough later on. Wrap again in cling film and chill again for half an hour to up to 1 hour, depending on how cold your fridge is. In the last rollout, it's really important to use enough flour, because the butter is now more exposed and will stick even more to the surface. I cut my pain Suisse to 8 by 16 centimeters. I just wanted them square and not too big, so I chose 8 by 16. If you're interested in the vanilla pastry cream recipe, just let me know in the comments. After I piped the pastry cream, I topped them with some 50% cocoa chocolate chips. Now you just need to carefully close them up without pushing the pastry cream out to the side. I like to create a little seam in the middle between the doughs so they hold together, and then lay them seam down onto your baking tray and proof them in the oven for 2 to 3 hours depending on the temperature and humidity.